The prophet Habakkuk doesn't spend any time on niceties, on praise or worship. His book opens up with a full-throated wail. O Lord, how long shall I cry? Cry out for help, and you will not listen. Or cry to you, violence, and you will not save.
Habakkuk's cry echoes my own heartbreak this week in so many ways. In the ICE raid on a car wash in Alston, where brown-skinned people were swept up indiscriminately, whether they were legally here or not, and scattered to deportation centers around New England. How long, O Lord, will you not listen? Or the Supreme Court's decision this week that trans and non-binary folk who renew or get new passports must use the gender they were given at birth, whether it suits them or not. How long, O Lord, that you will not save?
Or Friday, when the Supreme Court said that court-ordered SNAP payments for hungry children can be delayed, as though empty stomachs can be put on hold while well-fed jurists slow walk a decision. How long, O Lord? Habakkuk is angry. Angry at the world and angry at the people he sees dishing out injustice at every turn. He is as heartbroken at the violence in his world as we are at the violence in ours. But notice that Habakkuk doesn't yell at the world or at those people dishing out the violence. He yells directly at God. Hey, you're supposed to be God. You're supposed to be in charge of things, but you're not doing anything. I see your law being broken and justice never wins out. Where are you? Don't you care?
And God answers Habakkuk. And notice, God does not say, you should not talk to me like that. God says, I know. And then gives Habakkuk something to do. God reminds Habakkuk of the big picture. The world is terrible right now, and that's not the whole story. God reminds Habakkuk and us that God's love and God's justice and God's peace are the whole story. It's a long view. And then God gives Habakkuk a job to write that story. Write the vision, write it, make it plain. Write it so big that even someone running by can read it while they're running. I think write it as big as those digital billboards on 93 and 95 that you see it at 65 miles an hour, whether you want to or not. Call 777-7777. Am I right?
You'll be shocked to hear that there is some disagreement among biblical scholars around the exact date that Habakkuk was written and what the precise political situation was that he was addressing. But I think for us, it doesn't really matter that much. Because the inequity and the violence committed by the powerful against the powerless is universal, and it continues in his day and in ours. It doesn't stop.
And so when our question is the same as Habakkuk's, hey God, you're supposed to be God, what are you doing? God gives us the same answer God gave Habakkuk. I'm in this for the long haul, God says. I'm in this for the big long picture of justice and love. And God gives us the same commandment: write my vision and make it big.
God gives us a job. I just got reminded of Martin King talking about the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward justice. And our job is to do some bending.
Right? As we say in our house, the moral arc of the universe ain't going to bend itself, right? We have to help it along.
When Paul wrote to the beleaguered little church in Thessaloniki, he gave them the same message. He was celebrating their faith that was known everywhere, he says. Not because they were the biggest or they shouted the loudest, but because they lived God's love so clearly that others could see it. Their lives were God's billboard. Centuries after Habakkuk, the Thessalonians wrote God's love big enough for everyone to see.
So as you've heard more than once this morning, today is our Pledge Sunday. Today is the time that we all gather together to remember that we are blessed to be a blessing. Today is the day that we pledge our finances, our time, our talent to the support and the work of this church for the coming year. And with our pledges, we write God's vision. We join together to write it big enough for anyone to see. We make Harvard-Epworth Church possible to be a living billboard, a tasteful billboard, but a living billboard of love and hope and justice and peace in Cambridge and in the world.
Our pledges say and our pledges make visible that each of us as individuals and together as a community of faith are committed to living in ways that tell the world that yes, cruelty and violence surround us, but they are not the end of the story. God's vision and our witness is bigger than that. And we are bigger than that because we are rooted in God's love, which is bigger than anything.
We don't always feel it. And so I want to share with you a poem written by Howard Thurman in his book, Deep is the Hunger, as he describes a mother putting her child to bed. Each night, my bonny, sturdy lad persists in adding to his "now I lay me down to sleep" the earnest, wistful plea, God, make me big. And I, his mother, with greater need, do echo in a humbled, contrite heart, God, make me big.
This is our prayer too. Our hearts' prayers. Our humble and angry and heartbroken and hopeful, trying to be faithful hearts. Not looking for power, not looking for influence, but still saying, God, make me big. Make me into your big blessing in the world. God, make us big. Not big in power, but big in love. Big enough to hold the world's pain. Big enough to live your vision out loud until everyone might be blessed by the blessings we know, by our blessing, by your blessing through us. Amen.